Does anyone know what's going on with Penn State's head football coach search? We're going to try and decipher the latest here on Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate you tuning in. It felt like yesterday afternoon that we were moments away from Kalani Sitake, the BYU head coach, being named the Penn State head coach. And then things started to change. And now is he out? We'll catch you up on everything happening with him, plus a couple of other names to now keep an eye on as this continues to unravel. And guys, the support has been awesome. I would love more. If we can get to 15,000 subscribers by the new year, that would be incredible. Free and daily NFL and college football videos. New CFP rankings come out tonight. That's going to be significant, obviously, as we have 1 week to go. Championship weekend in college football, crowded CFP bubble. NFL playoff picture heating up. We're going to cover it all. Hit that subscribe button. All right, Liam Blutman of Barstool, who actually is pretty tapped into this coaching carousel stuff, had a couple of nuggets on this yesterday. So BYU had an emergency team meeting today. That was yesterday. That was canceled as Sitake has spent time today visiting with prominent members of BYU's football family that include the widow of Lavelle Edwards. BYU has gone to the church asking for more money. BYU is trying hard to make this miracle happen in terms of keeping Sitake and has gone above the athletic director in doing so. More from Blutman. Update. This a few hours later. Sitake is speaking to family and will sleep on the decision between BYU and Penn State. Belief is he will decide in the morning. As of this morning, nothing has officially been decided. At least we haven't heard. BYU's first meeting today that was canceled was going to be, quote, I'm taking another job. So BYU at least did enough to prevent him from doing that. Players have asked him to stay as well, and BYU has made their best offer. I also saw another note that BYU's offer would make him the highest paid coach in the Big 12, and they offered an NIL package that would rival Texas Tech, who spent a historic amount of money for the history of that program this offseason. When you rally the church, I mean, you're pulling out all the stops if you're Brigham Young. I mean, this is a full court press to keep Kalani Sitake in Provo. Remember, he's an alum. He played there. He loves BYU. So the fact that he would even consider Penn State is him kind of saying, listen, it's a prominent program in one of the two power conferences. I know it's a power 4, but it's really a power 2 and then a power 2 more with the Big 12 and the ACC. And I will say this for Penn State fans being like, we don't want Sitake, this and that. I get it. It's not exactly a geographical fit based on his track record, but Kalani Sitake's had a good run at BYU. 4 10-win seasons, 83-44, 5 bowl wins. They're in the Big 12 championship this year with a real chance to make the college football playoff. This is not some scrub. Now, when you fired James Franklin in October to get ahead of this coaching cycle and all these other guys or jobs have been filled, did you expect to be here? Probably not, but that does not mean that Kalani Sitake is a bad coach, and it doesn't mean that it could not work. I would agree that it's probably not the most ideal fit. There is some risk here, given that he's, been a guy who's been primarily on the West Coast, Utah, culture shift going from the state of Utah, a Mormon school, to the Northeast, Penn State, a big time party school. Like it's a change of pace. There's no question about it. But the guy can coach ball, so I don't think it would be some disastrous hire, even if it's not a hire that would win the headline or anything like that. Will Kalani Sitake leave BYU for Penn State? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think he's staying at BYU at this point. I feel like the longer time goes, the more likely it means he's going to end up staying, which then means, well, what the hell is Penn State going to do at that point? Because the journey continues in this coaching search that has been going on for well over 2 months. Zach Sako kind of paraphrased something Todd McVay said on the Bill Simmons podcast to shed light on the situation. He says McVay basically said that Jimmy Sexton, who's the college football head coach super agent guy, has gone to war with Penn State AD Pat Kraft because of James Franklin being fired. So Sexton is making it practically impossible for Penn State to hire someone worthwhile. I think this is a bit of a stretch. Listen, Jimmy Sexton has a lot of juice. The fact that he just parlays these coaching rumors into raises for all of his guys. Listen, more power to him. He's making his clients money. He's making himself money. He's just doing his job, and these programs keep falling for it. It's not his fault. But Bob Chesney, the James Madison coach that just took the UCLA job, if Penn State offered him the job, and reportedly Penn State has offered Sitake over $10 million per year, if Chesney was offered north of $8 million per year to be the guy, you're telling me that Sexton would be like, "Don't take it, Bob Chesney"? Of course he would. He's the James Madison head coach. Now, maybe he told Lane Kiffin, "Do not entertain Penn State," but Lane Kiffin wouldn't go to Penn State over LSU anyway. So I think there's a bit of a stretch going on there with that McVay take, but I'll also acknowledge Jimmy Sexton has a lot of juice in the world of college football. All right, today's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. Now that December is here, Christmas around the corner, the gift has always been waiting under the tree, one that would change every game from then on. It's Turtle Beach. Remember what it felt like to unwrap your very first headset, the joy, the thrill of plugging it in and stepping into a whole new world? Give that same experience all over again with the Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. This is more than just a gift. It's the ultimate throwback to those holiday mornings spent gaming from dawn to dusk. But this time it's better. No more tiny mics or muffled sound, just crystal clear audio, immersive surround sound, and an insane 80-hour battery life that keeps the fun going long after the Christmas lights come down. I've personally used Turtle Beach's headsets and other accessories for years when I play video games, whether it's a sports game and feeling like you're in the stadium with the crowd sound, or games like Call of Duty or Fortnite. I'm ahead of the curve thanks to Turtle Beach. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time, head to turtlebeach.com, use code chat for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off turtlebeach.com, promo code chat, and also do turtlebeach.com/chat. Don't delay. Get the perfect gift now. Happy holidays from Turtle Beach. All right, Jeff Brohm, is he next man up? If this falls through with Sitake, which again, I think he's staying at BYU at this point, especially considering they have a chance to go to the CFP, is Louisville's Jeff Brohm next man up? Because that's been the rumor online, is that if they can't land Sitake, they would turn their attention to Jeff Brohm. Now, Jeff Brohm has never been at a major prominent program. Western Kentucky, 30-10 in 3 seasons. Louisville or Purdue above 500. And that program was in a bad place when he took over. He's done really well at Louisville in 3 years, 27-12, 93-56 overall. I like Jeff Brohm. Penn State might feel a little rich for him, especially he is in his mid-50s, but it's kind of been a natural progression, right, in terms of the programs he's had. And he's great with quarterbacks. Penn State, historically, has not been a program that has gotten a lot out of their quarterback play. They've had some decent ones in recent years. Drew Aller did some decent things, Trace McSorley, but for the most part, they have underwhelmed at that position. So that's why I've kind of thought if you can get like an innovative offensive guy, like I'd be pretty interested in that. And Jeff Brohm, again, not going to win the headline, but at this point wouldn't be a bad option, even if it would feel a little underwhelming. I still think Brian Hartline's the guy I would go. I understand. He's young. He's never been a head coach. There would be some risk here. Like if you're Penn State, ideally you'd hire a proven head coach. But at this point in time, Brian Hartline feels like a pretty damn good option. And the flight tracking season, folks, have tracked a flight from Columbus to State College today. That would have taken off, I guess, a couple of hours ago by the time you're watching this. Now, I want to be clear. There's no proof that there's anything to connect with Brian Hartline and Penn State here. It's just a flight going from State College, from Columbus to State College. That could be anything. So sometimes these flight tracker situations are real. Sometimes they're not, and it's just rich people flying in planes. Like it doesn't necessarily correlate, but sometimes it does. And I do think Brian Hartline at least has to be in the mix at this point, right? Like there's just not that many options. I think there's a lot to like here. He's an elite recruiter. Played wide receiver at Ohio State, has coached at Ohio State for a while under Urban Meyer and Brian Day. He has helped develop several NFL wide receivers, and not just like guys that get into the pros, like guys who go to the NFL and are dominant players, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba might be the best receiver in the NFL this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming along nicely. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I mean, there's got to be 10 to 15 guys that he has developed Sure, those guys have a lot of talent, but he brought them to Ohio State and he helped develop them. He got the offensive coordinator title and play calling duties this year. That offense looks pretty good to me. So now he's gotten that experience, and he's only 39 years old. All of this is why I think he's worth the risk. I'll put in air quotes. I don't think it's a massive risk. He's well connected within the industry. He should be able to bring in a good staff because if you hit, the only job he's probably leaving for is Ohio State. Ryan Day's pretty young. I don't think he's going anywhere for the foreseeable future. You can have your guy for a decade plus if you're Penn State. And they already recruit well, but this guy recruits offensive skill talent well. That is something that Penn State lacks. So I would go get this guy. I would hire him today. Hey, Brian, here's 5 years and $50 million. Come be our coach. I mean, if you're Brian Hartline, you're going to turn that down? You're going to turn down Penn State? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Sitake might because he's BYU through and through. Brian Hartline, yeah, he's a Buckeye, but he's not getting that job anytime soon. Penn State, go get him. That would be my advice. Who should Penn State hire at this point? I would go get Brian Hartline. When in doubt, get a young, hungry, elite recruiter. I think that's always a good strategy in college football, and he fits all those bills. All right, we will continue to monitor this situation as it unfolds. Penn State, the job opened up first, and it's the last big one still open. So, Pat Kraft, I don't know. If you get this wrong, I think you're going to be in trouble, buddy. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We will continue to pump out daily NFL and college football content. See you.